Why don't you want to go to the Modern Art Museum?
Because I don't like the modern art. It's like putting 5 canvases on the wall, 4 of them are different colors, and the last one's just white. And the plaque on the wall is always so deep about it. Like, is this in laying space possibly left by lost memories or something? Probably duct tape and apples there and no one would notice.
Hi, I'm an art teacher. A few people tagged me in this video, so I thought I would respond to. First of all, what I would say to a child that said this is modern art is a really big term. It includes art that looks like this, art that looks like this, and art that looks like this. Modern art is often confused with contemporary art, but the terms don't really mean the same thing. Modern art is really a time period. It's between the mid to late 1800s for about 100 years following that. And what it is a response from artists to the invention and proliferation of photography. Because when you no longer had to paint to make a representation of something, then you're left with, well, what do I paint now? What do I make now? And it caused a lot of artists to start thinking about art history as linear. Because we suddenly had this technological jump, artists started to think about art in those terms, about making jumps forward. How do I push art forward? Now, in this video, I think what she's actually responding to is that I think she has a dislike of minimalism. And like, same.
So, what's your review? Is that art? How about this?
I have no words.
What about this one?
I don't like it.
First of all, I want to say a couple things that I really like that this grown-up is doing. One is taking her to the museum. It's really important for kids to be engaged visually and to be encouraged to think critically about artwork. That's how they're going to build visual literacy skills, which are so important for things like media literacy. You want to take your kids to the museum and you want to talk to them about what they're seeing. I also like that when she says, I don't like this, there's no pushback of like, well, you don't get it, or trying to explain to her why she has to like something. She doesn't have to like it. Now, a side note, they're clearly at LACMA. LACMA is not a modern art museum. It's just a county museum. And there's like a wide range in that collection. I think likely they went to the museum and looked at a lot of art that she did like in other sections. And they filmed this part because it made cute content. LACMA has a great program. You saw her wearing the orange sticker. It's called Next Gen, and it's free memberships for kids. And each kid gets to bring in an adult for free. So if you're in the LA area, definitely look into that. Now, a couple suggestions I have as an art teacher for how I would engage the conversation further so she could get more out of it. One is she had big feelings about the wall texts.
And the plaque on the wall is always so deep about it. Like, is this in laying space possibly left by lost memories?
Now, I would emphatically agree. I hate wall text. And as an educator, I really hate wall text. The reason I hate them is because they do all the thinking for you. They tell you what the artwork's supposed to be. They're not encouraging you to sit with the art and see what you get out of it. And it's not trusting the art to get you anywhere. If you need a wall text to explain it to you, that's a problem. And I often look at these wall texts or artist statements and I think that's not what I see in the work at all. And it can leave us feeling like this girl does, kind of cynical about art. Something that really helps to get us somewhere with the art and to get kids talking about the art is to try to delay judgment. So not going up to an artwork and being like, do you like it or do you not like it? That's kind of the least interesting place, and it's also a conversation ender. What I would suggest is something like when you approach like a Frank Stella artwork, start out with something really, really basic. What is it? Is it a painting? Is it a sculpture? Is it a photograph? Is it a video? Is it a performance? What is it? Then leading into, how do you think that it was made? These kinds of questions encourage closer looking at the surface, looking at different distances, trying to figure out, what is it made out of? Is there a certain way that the hand moved? Is it the material that I think it is? What are my expectations of what a painting looks like? Then I might look at, what is it a painting of? Is it something identifiable? Is it just pattern? Is it shape? How would I describe this artwork to someone who's never seen it before? These kinds of questions to try to get us into the position, not of like a viewer being told what the artwork is about, try to get into the position of like the artist. How was this made? Once we get into the how was it made, that can get us a little bit closer to why was it made. And then we can start to ask some of those questions about why would an artist do this? Instead of telling her how the artist did it or what the artist did, asking her to put herself in the position of the artist. She still might hate it. I don't particularly care for Frank Stella, but that's kind of irrelevant to having an experience with the work. LACMA is a huge institution. There's so much art there. There's no way she's going to like everything. Not everything is going to speak to her, but you can speak about everything. And then at the end of this video, something really interesting happens when they get to the Brancusi.
Bird in space. Now this is modern art,
Yeah.
but you like it.
Yes, I like this one because it is bird in space and it looks like a feather.
Those are literally your two favorite things, birds and space.
Okay, so suddenly she likes something that I think is very modernist. Brancusi, a Russian sculptor who was very influential for a lot of minimalist sculptors later. Now, something I noticed about when she said why she liked this, which again, I would go through the same process with this. I would try not to start with like or dislike. I would start with what is it made out of? What is it? Describe the shapes, describe the surface. Then when you talk about whether you like it or not, the thing she said was, it is what the title says it is. It's bird in space. Any form that we have, any sculpture, any object, is a form in space. So how do we get to bird? We get to bird. Well, she says it reminds her of a feather. We have the feather kind of shape. So just that hint of something that feeling like she got it, feeling like she understood the artwork, made her like it. Which makes me think that actually a lot of her dislike of the other artwork she was seeing comes from a place of feeling like she doesn't understand it. And when we feel like we don't understand something, we quickly feel like we have to either feel bad about ourselves or reject it. And so I think she's quickly rejecting it. I think she can get a lot out of looking longer at some of these pieces. But again, props to the grown-ups for taking her out on this experience and for sharing art with her.